real talk. Just off of JC, because I know in a few previous episodes you talked about him going to Chicago and him and Kato having the plug in the black community. Real talk. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna throw it out there.
Me and Kato actually did pretty good around the black gangs, man. We carried ourselves very well. Like, he used to make fun of me because I would be like on State Street where all the projects were at, and he would be over there on Roosevelt where he got killed, you know what I mean? We did well, like we knew how to treat people.
Julio was one of the first cats to look out. He the first cat that made it possible. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna validate what he said earlier. In Chicago, was one of the first dudes when I was struggling out here trying to make something happen. My man made a phone call. Literally said, Knox, go to Chicago, you good. And a part of Chicago that I don't roll with. And me and my fam went through there. It was like a scene in Training Day, like, yo, what are you doing over here? We didn't know if he was coming out dead or alive. And my man blessed me. You know what I'm saying? I just want to let it be known, yo, when he sit back and say that him and Kato was in the community and they was looking out with other cultures, that shit really happened, homie. And like I said, that's real shit. Like, my man's made it so that certain parts of the city that I normally couldn't go through, I was able to go through off of this man's word. And making a phone call, and the shit happened. And like, he already know, you know what I'm saying? I went and seen him, and I appreciate everything he did for me, because he gave me a pass in certain sections through our city that cats normally don't get a pass. They was wondering, yo, how can you fuck with the...
There's a difference between people that are big time and do their own dirty work, and there's people that are big time that do their dirty work. So, you know, I just knew that he didn't do his own dirty work. So I kind of felt like I could push him around a little bit. Pedro Jr., you know, so he's the one that married Valerie. Yeah, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I guess I try to be a bully when you know, when I feel that I'm stronger than somebody. So, you know, at the time, I just thought that, you know, I knew he was big time, but I knew that I remember him saying something, and I grabbed him from the back, and I was just like, kind of like, I guess like, kind of trying to choke him, I guess. And like,
were you fake playing? Were you playing or?
Yeah, I was, I guess, playing, trying to be like a bully, you know what I mean? But, you know, at the time, I didn't know he had the ties that he had. And when when Valerie gave me that call from Mexico that they were staying at that big mansion in Mexico, I started thinking, I was like,
Chapo's mansion.
I was like, holy shit, like, that motherfucker could have put $100 grand on my fucking head, like, with no problem, you know, and here I am fucking around. But I think at the same time, me having such a close relationship to Valerie is probably what made that not happen.
Did he, when you did that, I mean, did he like react? Did you have an argument, or was it all played off like ha ha ha?
Yeah, it was played off, you know what I mean? But I know it bothered him. I could see it in his face.
Tell me about the relationship, or what you observed of the relationship and interaction between the two brothers and what the differences between them were.
Well, Junior was the one that I knew the most. The other brother, I only seen him maybe... Margarito, I'd probably seen him 3 or 4 times at the most.
So they weren't always together?
No.
What was, when you did see them together, how did they interact? I mean, were they... I
mean, you could tell the difference. The other one was very serious, very...
oh, they had a different personality.
Yep. You know, Junior was very charismatic. I guess that's why he dealt with all the people. That's why he had all the friends, you know.
Margarito was less seen.
Yep. You know, Margarito, I've seen him a couple of times when he was actually out with his girlfriend, shit like that. And it was just like kind of like a nod, and that was it. He was a lot more serious. Junior was the charismatic one.
Which is a key part of the game. I mean, you have to have someone out there as the salesman, right?
Exactly.
What do you think about your your childhood friend Valerie and the other girl are like really doing a massive press run for their book. I mean, what do you think about it?
I don't know. At first, I was like, why? You know, I mean, I know they still have money, but then it's like, do they want to share the message so like other young pretty girls like them don't make the same mistake?
Or do you think they just want attention?
Or is it just this whole new era of social media? You know, it's like a high they get nowadays from having you know, attention. It's I don't know where to put my finger on it. You know, I hope she's being safe, you know, about everything. When you're getting that much exposure, people could find you if they're looking for you, you know? So it's like, I mean, I still worry. I worry about, you know, me, and I don't have El Chapo looking for me. So it's like, if I had him looking for me, you better damn sure I wouldn't be releasing no fucking book or doing press release or nothing like that.
So even though El Chapo's organization is supposedly rolled up and El Chapo's gone, you think that the people that testified, snitched, provided information are going to always be in jeopardy?
Yeah, I mean, the dark world has long hands, man. Like, people don't realize that. Like, even if it takes 10, 20 years, man, people like that wait. They wait. They eventually get you. You know, and it's just not something to play with. You know, it's the funny part, because like when I actually got into the game heavy, where I was actually moving weight, you were moving weight with all the enemy gangs, like 2-6, you know, Saints, you know, everybody, all the big shot callers, all talk to each other. They all hang out with each other. They just do it on the down low because they're making money. You know, money is their color after a certain amount of like money. You know what I mean? It's their money. But they're using all these other kids to like collect turf. You know, kill these guys. We're gonna take over that block. Blah blah. But they're just pawns. You know, and all these guys are talking to each other, making money. I mean, I'll give you an example. When I had turned a Latin King, you know, a couple of years down the road, I got a phone call and
Turned Latin King from
Saint Disciple, and
who are deadly rivals.
Deadly Rivals, and I got a phone call and asked to go back to Chicago and provide security for an enemy that I was considered to be an enemy of, and was paid well, and you know, got set up, house, car, everything.
So people know, not security at a party, like his get up in the morning.
Personal security, like.
What did that entail?
Me getting up in the morning, putting on my gun before my pants, and picking him up, watching his back, pretty much making sure that he made it home before I did. And it was a job. And the thing is that the only reason why I did that is that I was struggling with the whole fact of not having the money that I used to have, not living the life that I used to have. I was unhappy with working a 9-to-5 job where, you know, I was out in the sun working in construction, and I was fucking miserable. I could barely provide for my daughter and my, you know, girlfriend at the time. I was fucking broke, living check to check, and it was easier to go back to something that, honestly, they could have just been setting me up. They could have just had me fly out to Chicago, and they could have just killed me.
But having been, so you didn't think it was a setup?
No, obviously, you know, I went back and I knew that people like that always need somebody small to do the dirty work. You know what I mean? Obviously, they don't want to lose everything they have, and you know, I'm just gonna be like flat out and say, you know, they're pussies. I mean, they'll have somebody else do their dirty work. I start noticing the feds. You know, I see white dudes in the elevator. I mean, I'm not stupid. I know what the feds look like. I know how they park. I know, you know, what they do, and I start noticing people around their office, around their homes, and you know, I start thinking to myself, you know, what am I doing here? Like, you know, and my daughter was little at the time, you know, Valerie, and I was in those first stages. I always say those first stages of wanting to change. I actually wanted to not go to prison no more. I wanted to be somebody different. I didn't want to be a gangster no more.
But
Well, we were at a nightclub and there were some rival gang members there, and I was dancing with a girl all night, and she like told me to come out to the parking lot.
like,
And
I'm a sucker, dude.
yeah, you know, I thought I was gonna get lucky that night. I got fucking lucky, but I got a fucking sledgehammer in my mouth.
Somebody hit you in the mouth with a sledgehammer.
So, you know, I had to go to the hospital. Broke my whole bottom of my jaw. The bone pretty much opened. So I have metal plates holding my bottom of my jaw together. And from that day, it was like my aha moment, I guess, where I said, you know, I need to change. You know, and I had a lot of these episodes throughout my, I guess you say into my late 20s, where I did want to change. I just didn't know how. I didn't know what I was going to do. You know, now I'm like, I feel safe with my change because I have a career, I have a brand, I actually have something that, you know, provides for my family. So it feels safer now.
Yep, and you can't lose it overnight because it's not illegal.
Exactly. So, you know, I just wanted to change, but I didn't know how. And, you know, I ended up packing all my stuff and just leaving town. You know, I didn't tell them anything. I didn't tell my boss anything. I just packed all my stuff, put my daughter in the truck. I rented a truck and just left the house empty and just left without saying a word, and just didn't look back. And I came back to Phoenix and went back to the job that I fucking hated and just started working. And that's the first that I actually said to myself, I'm going to start changing. And I don't know if I talked about this on my last interview, but I went to school to get certified as a streetlight technician, and you know, I became a superintendent of my company, you know, 6 months down the road. And I started making really good money, but my drug use and the way that I think.
Would have been around the same time you were dealing with DMX?
Yeah. You know, and it got the best of me. So, you know, I ended up losing that job and had to go back to doing security at a strip club and just making, like, again, bad choices because, like I said, I wanted to change but didn't know how to.
So, okay, now let's segue into